I know most of my viewers would know you, but just as a formality, give us a little and brief introduction about yourself, and then we can continue.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to introduce myself. My name is Meenu Puri. I am running a YouTube channel. So I have been running this channel for 5 years now. I hold an MCA degree and I am from Delhi. I have two beautiful children, and my hobbies include listening to music, dancing, and traveling. So that's a bit about me.
Okay, ma'am. So, have you always lived in a city, or did you ever experience village life also?
No, I was born and raised in Delhi. So I was always there in the capital of India. But
Okay.
since my nani lived in Haryana, Safido, there's a place near it's in Jind district. So I used to go and spend my summer vacations there with all my cousins. So that was actually not a village, but that was a town. So I have experienced life in a town that was way different than life in Delhi. So they would all call us, oh, Delhi ki ladki.
Okay, so that means you have experienced living in a village too and in a city too. So, what do you think are the major differences of living in a city and in a village?
Was different. Like they all used to sit together, sleep together, and in the neighborhood also, they were all like families. That was a big difference that I saw. In Delhi, it wasn't like that. We didn't talk to our neighbors much, and neighbors were not involved in our lives much. So that was a difference that I experienced.
Yeah, that happens. I actually from a village, and I have seen that in my area, our neighbors know everything about us. Our whole village actually know everything about us, and if we are ever in help, if we need help, they are always there with us. So I think that's a major difference between a village and a city. In a city, your neighbor would never guess what's going on in your house or what your kids are doing or what's your profession and all that. But in a village, everybody would know about you, and they would always be there to support you if you are in need. So I think that's the biggest difference. Other than that, I think city life is a fast life. Everything is available. You can get anything in under 10 minutes because of Blinkit, but that facility is not there in village. We are still living behind from city. So I think that these are the two differences.
Yeah, there are more differences. I mean, like my mama's name was uh, Bhushan. Okay. So wherever we went, like as kids, we were like 10, 11. We would think like, let's go near the railway station and play there and do this and that. Whenever we did anything, somebody or the other person would tell him, Bhushan, oh, these are Bhushan's nieces or his nephew and niece. So he would get all the news wherever we went. So you could say that there is no privacy.
Mhm.
If a girl wants to meet a boy and the family is conservative, right?
Yeah.
So they will get to know and hear in Delhi. Um, if my daughter comes back even at 10 p.m., nobody has no any idea. They have no idea. They would not say anything. In Delhi, when even I was doing a job that was long back, even at that time, sometimes it would happen that I would be with my friends and come back at 9:30. Nobody was concerned. Nobody even looked at us. So you could say that there is so much freedom, so many opportunities, so much development. So I would say if I have to choose between two, I would always choose city life. I am biased because I was born and raised in a city. But somebody who has lived in both the places, that person would also choose a city life for growing in life, but a village life for having great and beautiful moments with the neighbors who are more like a family. So the difference is that. So most of them have to go out for the growth of their business or to grow in life.
I actually agree with that point of yours that we get no privacy because as I'm a girl and I'm from a village, I always have to make sure that whenever I'm going out, I don't want any guys around me because if someone from my neighborhood saw me with a guy, then my family gonna know, and there's gonna be a big trouble for me. I think I agree with that point of yours that there's no privacy, and we as girls have always to make sure that we don't get in trouble because of that. Because obviously the families are conservative here. They think that girls are gonna go in the wrong path if they met any guy in their life, and even if they talk. So that's a major drawback of living in a village, actually.
Yes. And I think guys could be great friends also. So
Yeah.
they even don't have that option,
Mhm.
let alone dating and all. So a girl in a village, if she is seen dating, that is another issue. But if she wants to have guy friends, she wants to have a group with boys and girls, and their gang goes out and explore new places. That is, I don't think it is possible in a village. But in my college, since Delhi is so big, that is also a concern. I think uh, Delhi is the size of, I would say, 100 villages. That is so big. And so I would go to college. They would attach my name with every guy I talked, but I didn't care because my parents didn't come and visit me in college. So it was my life. I would make friends. I would make male friends, female friends. I would date or not date. I would break up. So it was my life. I lived it the way I wanted. That's not possible in a village.
Yeah, like if we even talk to guy, it's like a crime for us. If you ask any girl of my class where I used to study, if I ask any girl that do you ever talk to guys, then they would be so shocked because it's so unusual for us to talk to girls. And I had a friend actually in my school, and he was a guy. So whenever I used to talk to him, we had to make sure that no teacher is seeing us. Because if the teacher saw us, then there's gonna be trouble. The teacher gonna tell our parents that your daughter is not in the right path. She's doing all that and that. So it's a big trouble for us if our parents get to know about that. So yeah, the life here is hard a bit for girls, I would say.
Yeah. So you are living in a village. Didn't
Yeah.
you ever have a crush on a boy and you had to give up because you were living in a village?
Yeah, obviously, there's not even an option. It's not even an option for us. We cannot have all that things in our life because obviously our parents think that simply girls can't do all that, I feel, yeah. Okay, so my next question would be if you could travel to any place right now, which one would it be and why?
Mm. I have been to Paris once and I really loved it. I loved Disneyland Paris. That was
Yeah.
really amazing. And we traveled to 6 countries in that vacation, but Paris was the most amazing part of it. And Disneyland I loved. So suddenly that is something that came to my mind that if I could be anywhere in the world.
So my next question is that obviously your channel is based on spoken English, right? So, and also you have a lot of experience of teaching in this field. You have been here for like 4 or 5 years. So, why do you think that learning English is important in 2026? Or can we survive without learning it in this era or not?
I don't think even if we don't have to travel abroad, if we are just going to stay in India, that is even more difficult. I think foreigners don't judge us that much. Indians judge us so much that every job, even the companies where English is not spoken much, but in the interview process, they would always have English questions. So they want the candidate to be able to speak English. So if a person is not looking for a job, even if it is just a homemaker, then also she will not feel confident if she goes to a party where the other women speak in English. If she goes to the PTNs, even the children would start saying, Mama, you don't speak English, everyone else does. So I think if you want to look confident, feel confident, and want to keep your head high in the society, then also you need to learn and you need to master this language in 2026. Yes, for all the reasons, even if you are homemaker, don't go out. But whenever you will go out, you will still feel that you were not able to speak English.
In India, English is that medium because India is a large country, right? we have many languages. We can't even count how many total languages are there. So English is that medium that connects north and south. Since Hindi is not there in
Yes,
south,
yes, yes.
so English is the
Yeah, that's
medium.
true. It's
Yeah.
not just the foreigners that we want to feel that we speak English so that we can look good in front of them, but it's about our own people also. We cannot speak with a person who speaks Kannada or Telugu or Tamil or Odia unless we know a language that can be spoken by everyone. So, yes, that is also an important thing.
Okay, ma'am. So, by now you must have talked to many speakers who are trying to learn this language. So, what's that one problem that most of the one or two problems that most of the English learners face, and how they can overcome those problems?
See, most learners tell basic things that I cannot speak English, but I can understand English. That can be taken care of by speaking more, and they don't have any confidence to speak. So why they say they can understand English well but cannot speak English, that is because they have been training their ears and eyes. So their ears are trained because they have been listening to English content. Their eyes can watch English content. Their eyes can read English content. So they have been just taking input, and input. They are not giving output. That is why their mouth muscles are not trained. So since their mouth is not familiar with speech, they are struggling to speak English. And they can understand because they have been listening. That is why now they're able to understand. But like a child, listens and speaks, makes mistakes and then listens and speaks. In the same way, they should speak English more often. Many people are like, I spent 3 hours learning English, but I'm not able to speak. In those 3 hours, they are just consuming English content, they are not speaking. So the solution is to speak English, whether it is broken. How much ever it is broken, they need to speak English to overcome that fear and nervousness. And the other thing that they go through is, what if we make mistakes? That's why we are not able to speak English. But I think we did that in everything else. Like, how did you learn us to ride a cycle? Weren't you afraid of falling off? You did fall off. You knew you would fall off. And only by falling off, you would learn. If a person learns cycle without falling off even once, that would be a miracle. So every person who learned it knew that he would fall off. Even then they did it. But here, when people fall off a cycle, people don't judge them. For English, since it has kind of become a status symbol, people judge them more. So they take it to heart. If someone laughs at them and says that this is wrong, they take it to heart as if they failed, you know, they
Yeah.
failed as an English learner. Instead of thinking that, okay, it is a mistake, it is an opportunity to learn. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn. They should take it in that way. Then only they can have the courage to speak English. They think that that hurdle which will make them face their fear, without crossing that hurdle they would become a fluent English speaker. But every one of us had to cross that hurdle. I was also embarrassed once, nervous once. The words would get stuck here, they would not go past my throat. But somehow I had to overcome it. Nobody else can do that for you. That is your part. Other person can hold your hand and tell you do this, but you have to overcome it. So I think, yes, if you keep that in mind, that little by little, maybe they can incorporate one English sentence in two English sentences. So little by little, they can start doing that. One day, if they are able to speak one sentence in front of a speaker who can speak English well, it would be a victory. The next day, they will be able to speak two sentences. So that way, they can motivate themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that point of yours that since English is seen as a status in our society, and whenever we make a mistake, we don't see it as a new language or anything like that. We completely like see it as a status actually. And whenever we make a mistake, we think that, oh, we are not good at it. People are gonna judge us, and it's not a good thing actually because learning English is similar to if you're learning guitar, cycle, bike, anything.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
when you're
yes.
learning those things, you'll obviously fall because you're not gonna learn without falling, right? So same way, I think English is the same. you're gonna fall many times, but there will be a point when you'll feel that okay, now I've improved because I fell off once, and that fall was necessary in order to learn it. So instead of taking it
Yes.
on your personality, take it as a new skill that you're learning, and you'll fall. And when you fall, you will learn the lesson that okay, I made this mistake, now I'm gonna work on it, and gradually you're
Yes.
gonna improve, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's different with the other languages. Let's say I start learning Punjabi today. If I make mistakes, I will not be ashamed of those
Yeah.
mistakes. But it is only with English, which is very sad. It is also a language, an international language, which has to be learned. And maybe it is because of those people, some people show off their English and make fun of other people who can't speak English. That is why I think people are taking it so seriously that it becomes their ego, that their ego gets hurt when they make a mistake. Okay, isne meri galti nikal di, ab to English is not my cup of tea, I'm never going to speak English again. So it's like that for them.
Yeah, I've seen this habit in a lot of people that people usually say that we can understand English and we cannot speak. It's not about speaking, it's just that you've never practiced it, buddy. You've never tried speaking it. How are you going to speak if you're only consuming content? So, practice is
Yeah.
one thing, and making mistakes, these two things are required in order to be fluent in English. Otherwise, if you never start speaking, you're never going to learn, and you'll have to fall in order to learn. So instead of taking
Yes.
it that okay, I am so weak at it, people are laughing at me, no, you are learning, and you will learn by falling. So take it like that, right?
Yes.
So I think we can wrap up our session now.